day, everybody. It's Michael Levitis from JurisQ.com, a legal network where we answer your commonly asked legal questions. And today we bring back Irina Yadgarova. Irina, how are you?
Hello, how are you, Michael?
Very good, thank you. And of course, Irina is our go-to person, our guru on probate and estates law. And today we're going to talk about a specific issue, pooled trusts. It's simple yet complicated. A lot of people don't really understand how it works, what are the dynamics, what's it for, but it's a very useful tool, right, Irina?
Extremely useful.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the purpose? What is the purpose of a pooled trust? Am I even saying it correctly? That's the name?
Yeah.
Pooled trust?
So it's a pooled income trust.
Okay.
It's a type of a supplemental needs trust. And really it's used for mainly for the purpose of qualifying for Medicaid for those who are either over income, well, it's over income, or they're receiving like a settlement check or some sort of one-time, inheritance, some sort of income for that time period. So they can receive that monthly income payment stream or that one-time settlement and keep their Medicaid benefit. Can also help with SSI and other benefits, but for our purposes, really, this is what we want to get into, most commonly used.
Okay, so let's just backtrack for a second, just to explain to people. In New York, the way I understand it, you're allowed to use an instrument, a mechanism called a trust in order to qualify for Medicaid, to get free medical care and nursing homes and all that. We'll get into that. And one of the ways to do it is through a pooled income trust, because that takes care of if you have too much income coming in, right? If you don't qualify.
The retirement income, correct. Yes.
Okay, so how does that address that issue?
Yes, and I want to explain why it's retirement income, because a pooled trust, you can't use it you can't use it if you're just anybody. You have to be either disabled according to the Social Services Administration, your local Department of Social Services, or you are at a point where you can no longer work to where you can get what's called substantial gainful income, right? Substantial gainful activity. So typically, if you're 65 or older and retired, and certainly as you get into your 70s and are older, you will qualify to have standing for this pooled income trust. And certainly if you're disabled.
So I mean, I'm going to ask you questions along the way.
Yeah, of course.
This trust should be created when you're 65 and over, or it could be created before?
I love this question. It should only be created if you are trying to get on Medicaid, but are over the income and you're retired, right? Because obviously if you're working, you can't make use of this trust because you're not disabled, you're working. So if you're trying to get on Medicaid and you're over 65 and retired, or you're disabled and you want to get on Medicaid. And then the second category is let's say you already have Medicaid, right? And you're getting your settlement, you had a personal injury action and you're about to get a settlement and you don't want to lose the Medicaid and you don't want to lose other government benefits. You use this as a shelter. So this trust is used as a shelter for excess income. And you can either be eligible or keep receiving the government benefits such as Medicaid. Okay,
this all sounds great, but practically, how does it work? So let's say you get this excess income that's too much to qualify for Medicaid. What happens with that income and how could it be used?
Okay, so you have to have a certain income threshold, right, in New York to qualify. Because what does Medicaid look for? If you're disabled or over 65, you're in the same category. And Medicaid looks for your monthly income stream, what it is, as well as your resources. So for purposes of income, right, currently a single individual is only allowed to have about $950 worth of monthly retirement income. And a married couple is only able to have about $1,300 worth of monthly income. As we spoke about before, these levels are going up by rather significant amount, $500, give or take, in January, which rarely happens. There was a change in law. But basically, these are the income thresholds. So if you're over income, right? So let's say today I'm receiving $2,000. I'm over 65. I'm retired. And I'm receiving $1,000 from, let's say, Social Security retirement and another $1,000 from my IRA or from any stream, right? From a retirement annuity. So I have $2,000. So if my limit as a single individual is about 950, I'm about 1,050 over the income threshold.
Mhm.
So I can go to an attorney, I can set up this pooled income trust and have this pooled income trust take from my checking account, right, where my retirement income and both sources are going into. The pooled income trust, which there is a company for, there's a lot of companies, we can get into that manage
Okay.
these pooled trusts, they're
Okay.
fiduciaries.
Mhm.
They will withdraw that excess income because that is the minimum that has to be withdrawn from my account in order for me to qualify for Medicaid without paying anything for it.
Right.
They will take this 1,050, whatever my excess income is, put it into the pool trust account. And the pool trust account, the function is for that pool trust account to pay my bills. I can
Mhm.
have rent for $1,000. And there you go. I just created a wonderful mechanism where I'm using a roundabout way of using my own income for my own expenses. And I have Medicaid free of charge.
Okay.
So
Get it.
that's how it works. And I just
I
want
got it.
everybody to understand the mechanism. If you have any questions on that, I'd love to hear it because
Yeah,
people
of
get tripped
course.
up.
So basically, in a nutshell, the income is stored in that trust, in that account, but it is used for your purposes. So it's not like money is going somewhere.
Yes,
It's
it
going
cannot
to
go
pay
anywhere.
for your needs, for your rent, mortgage, like you said, and for other expenses. And it's
Yes.
completely legit. It's legal. It is blessed by New York State law.
Oh, yes, it's congressional law that
Perfect.
authorizes use of these pooled income trusts. And what's fascinating is I'm glad you asked if it's legal because you're not because it's so amazing. There's no ceiling, right? I have clients with 5,000, 7,000, 9,000 monthly excess income because they worked a lot, they have high retirement, but they
Okay.
need home care and they have high expenses. So they have mortgage, they have, credit card bills, whatever bills, their dental bills. And so for them, it makes a lot of sense to do this because, they're not this income is not accumulating and sheltering because what happens if you don't use that income? If there's
Yeah.
any accumulation under current law, you could use it anytime during your lifetime. So you can go on vacation, you can buy, a car, and you could have renovations, whatever, for yourself, right? The limitations of this pool trust are that it must be for yourself. It cannot be a gift and it cannot
I
be
see.
contraband.
Okay.
But if you pass away and you didn't use the entire balance of whatever accumulated
Yeah.
there, couldn't use it on a monthly basis,
Yeah. What
it
happens to
goes
the
to,
money?
it goes to charity.
Mhm.
So that's why this is perfect for those whose excess income was close to their expenses.
I see.
For those where it's too much, it doesn't really make, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
So it has to be like reasonable income
Correct.
to cover
Yeah,
your
it has to
expenses.
be,
And
right.
once somebody passes away, it goes to a charity of their choice. If there's
Right,
any money left over.
Right. The typical client will not have any money left over because they're billing as they go. Ideally, you want to deplete
Right.
it on a monthly basis.
So there's like there's a net number. It always zeroes out basically.
That's ideal. You don't have to. It could accumulate. You could have like a vacation or a big ticket item purchase, whatever. There's no limitation onto the amounts. But because we never know, when the good Lord takes us,
Right.
we have no idea when our time comes. So you want to use it ideally on a monthly basis.
Of course. Irina, I use a special software to analyze what are people searching for on the internet on any given topic. And I saw that this month in US, people are asking about pooled income trusts. How does it relate to nursing homes besides Medicaid? How about nursing homes? Does that cover
That's a
that
great
as well?
question. Yeah, it doesn't.
It's a question that's being asked out there. So we want to end. We're here to educate the public, right? So this is what we're doing.
So for Medicaid, right, where it acts as a shelter, in New York, we have the community Medicaid, which can cover home care, chronic long-term care at home. It can cover, rehab stays, but anything that requires a long-term institutional care will require coverage by institutional Medicaid. And then that is where the pool trust is no longer effective. The shelter is only for the community Medicaid, which again can cover the home care, can cover the rehabilitation stays. But once it is institutional Medicaid that is triggered by a long-term stay in a skilled care facility, usually they'll do a conversion Medicaid app with about 90-day trigger. So if you're in a facility rehabbing, 90 days elapses, they'll convert that home care or community app to a nursing home skilled facility app.
Mhm.
And the pool trust can no longer, there's different threshold allowances and personal care needs allowance, but the pool trust is only effective for sheltering income in a community Medicaid setting.
I see. Okay, very good. Thank you. Irina, this trust, what if the person, the beneficiary of the trust, changes their mind and they want to cancel it, they want to revoke it?
Yeah.
Is there such an option?
Yeah, sure. You could just instruct the pool trust company to no longer take that ACH, authorized withdrawal amount that you've authorized when setting up the trust. And that's it. It can stop, it'll zero out. But again, you won't have that qualification for Medicaid usually unless you see your income changes. So I personally, all my clients, I've never had them cancel it because I've never had anybody not
But
want to continue receiving Medicaid, but you
Yeah.
could. It's not an
it's a
irrevocable.
good thing. It's a good thing to know that you always can cancel. You can change their minds.
You could, but you can't take them once the money's there, whatever's there, it's there for your bills. You can't take it back as cash.
Got it.
You can't, you can't withdraw it as cash.
Irina, you mentioned an interesting point that the money that's held by these trusts has to be administered or held by a special company. Is it a not-for-profit company? How does that work and how do they get paid?
Yeah,
And how do you find them?
There's a lot of these companies and they all have a varying fees. I work with any of them. I usually recommend like the lowest fee charging type to my clients. And the differences really are, they all do the same thing. They're all fiduciaries. They're all meant to, take whatever amount you tell them on a monthly basis and pay out whatever expenses you furnish. So of course, the quality of service can vary depending on what company you use. If you want like the Amex type service where the customer service is really responsive and super quick and they don't just write out checks Tuesdays and Thursdays, but every day of the week and 24 hours a day, then you're going to pay more. So depending on what the excess income is on that personal, but there's usually a monthly charge. Sometimes it's a flat fee. So I'll give you like a range, right? The cheapest company will charge, and I have like a whole spreadsheet, so I really know what's the cheapest one. The cheapest one is going to charge you $200 upon opening the account, no matter what your excess or whatever your settlement, it could be $200,000 settlement. They're going to take $200 when you open the account and $20 once a month. And then they have some miscellaneous fees that usually don't apply.
Okay, so it's reasonable.
Yes. And then other companies, you have percentages. You'll have 10% of the spend down amount going in, or you have a $50 minimum, whichever one is higher or low. They're all kind of all over the map, but you can, that's something that's very personal depending on the circumstances.
But you could recommend to a client what company to go with or discuss advantages or disadvantages of each one.
Yeah, my job is to do this from soup to nuts. I set this all up for the client so that it's as seamless and as little, there is of course, there's some management that the individual does have to deal with this company. It'll be just like your credit card vendor or whatever it is. It's kind of like online banking, and they have PIN numbers now. So it's much more savvy these days. But once you get used to this happening, right, that your bank is you're authorizing from your bank account that withdrawal, it goes on a monthly basis, and these are the bills that you plan that the pool trust company will pay out from your pool trust account. It's a bit difficult for people to really wrap their heads around in the beginning. So, but once you get into it, a couple of months, and it just becomes something that you're used to. It's not difficult. It's not cumbersome. It's not onerous. It's amazing.
Once you mentioned you want to discuss pooled income trusts, at first I thought, okay, this is going to be complicated. How do we break it down for people to be understandable? But guess what? We just did that. We talked about the one-on-one of pooled income trusts. And of course, we gave general information. If anybody wants specific information on their particular issues, on their case, you have to talk to an attorney. An attorney like that is Irina Yadgarova, our go-to person for what happens when you have to retire. I mean, look, this is something you have to plan for in advance, because that day is coming. That day is coming. And not only for you, you also have to think about your parents. If you want your parents to be comfortable in their retirement, you should also worry about it ahead of time, right? And you should consult an attorney, There are a lot of financial decisions to be made, also logistics, who gets what, when, how, all that could be answered by an attorney that does what's called elder law, also called probate or estate law. Irina Yadgarova is one such attorney, and we're going to have Irina's information on the bottom of the screen. And you should always follow our webinars. They're free, they're educational, and I think they're pretty easy to follow with Irina Yadgarova and other attorneys, where we break down the law to you and make it practical and make it come to life, right? Because Irina, law by itself, which read in the books, that could be a little boring, I would say, right? But reading the statutes, the laws, but once you bring practical examples and you think about your own life and what could happen down the road, it comes to life. That's what we're trying to do. Irina, is there anything else you want to add?
I try to take all the legalese like out of these conversations.
Thank you.
Some people have the pooled trust concept. It's very easy for them to understand, and for others, it's just it's a tough concept because it kind of seems strange that you could use your own income for your own expenses and qualify for Medicaid. I can't tell you how many people have asked me, like, "Are you sure you're licensed? Like, this is legit. I can have Medicaid."
I see all your diplomas behind you.
Yeah, right. And it's rather odd, and it's not in every state. In New Jersey, they don't use pooled trust. So New York is, it's wonderful in that sense that it allows for over-incomed individuals to qualify for this amazing government benefit. Medicaid healthcare is tremendously expensive. So it's really kind of magical because people are shocked. They're like, this is legit. I could do this.
Yeah, and look, it's for you. We have paid taxes our whole life, including for Medicaid, unemployment, whatever. So that's part of you getting back what you paid for. Am I right? If you think
I don't opine on these things. I just go by the law. People have different political opinions. If this is good, if this is bad, depends, I guess, on your.
Whatever, you're right. You know what? It's there. Take advantage.
Nobody's pushed to do this. It's an option if it makes sense for you. If you need it, you could take advantage. It's wonderful. If you're not into it,
there are other options, right? There are other options. And by the way, Irina,
you can always private pay. You can always pay out of pocket.
Right. That's always an option.
Right.
It's called pooled income trust, but now that I think about it, I think a more simple name would be excess income trust. That would
I don't make up these names either. It's pooled because you know what it is. It's for collective, because what happens is they pool all the funds together of the individuals who contribute to these supplemental needs trusts, the disabled individuals, and then it goes to the charity benefiting those. So it's pooled in the sense that it's collective for the disabled individuals. Yeah.
Understood. Okay, very good. Okay, Irina, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate for you making this investment of your time that you usually charge for, but you're here for us to educate our audience. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. Everybody have a great day. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.